The White House today intensified its criticism of crime policies in Democrat-run cities, arguing that progressive measures like cashless bail are the primary drivers of violent crime, even in cities located within Republican-led states. During a press briefing, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt asserted that the issue is not about the political alignment of a state, but rather the leadership within its major urban centers. She stated that nearly all of the top 20 high-crime cities in the nation are managed by Democrats who have supported such policies. The comments came in response to a question about whether the Trump administration would extend its crime-fighting efforts to cities in red states such as Memphis, Tennessee, which has also experienced a surge in crime. President Trump has previously focused his threats of federal intervention on cities like Chicago and Baltimore. Leavitt countered that the administration's focus is on the policies themselves, citing Jackson, Mississippi, and Birmingham, Alabama, as examples. She noted that in 2019, the Democrat-run city of Jackson eliminated cash bail for most misdemeanors, and that Birmingham's City Council passed a resolution in 2017 committing to sanctuary policies, despite both cities being in staunchly Republican states. The administration holds that these local decisions create havens for criminal activity. This stance comes as President Trump continues to highlight his recent crime crackdown in Washington, D.C., where he federalized the capital's police force for 30 days, an action credited with a drop in homicides and over 2,000 arrests. The administration presents the D.C. intervention as a successful model, while local leaders in other cities have decried the potential for similar federal action as authoritarian overreach. In related political news from Capitol Hill, the Republican majority in the House of Representatives has narrowed following a special election in Virginia. Democrat James Walkinshaw secured a decisive victory today in the race for Virginia's 11th congressional district, defeating Republican Stuart Whitson. The Associated Press called the race shortly after polls closed. This victory means the House GOP will now have a tighter margin for passing legislation along party lines, able to lose only 2 of its members on any given vote, down from the previous 3. The special election was held to fill the seat left vacant by the death of longtime Democratic Representative Jerry Connolly in May of this year. Connolly had served in Congress since 2009. Walkinshaw is no stranger to the district or to his predecessor's office, having served for over a decade as Connolly's chief of staff. More recently, he has been a member of the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors since 2020, giving him a strong local profile heading into the election. His opponent, Stuart Whitson, ran on a platform of his experience as a U.S. Army combat veteran and a former FBI special agent. Walkinshaw is expected to be sworn in later this week, officially tightening the balance of power in the House. Staying in Washington, the Supreme Court has agreed to fast-track its review of a legal challenge to President Trump's reciprocal tariffs, a cornerstone of his second-term economic and foreign policy. In an order issued today, the High Court announced it will hear arguments in the first week of November. The court consolidated 2 separate cases, Learning Resources Incorporated versus Trump and VOS Selections versus United States, which challenged the legality of the tariffs. Lower courts had previously struck down most of the tariff package, prompting the administration's appeal. The Trump administration has argued that these tariffs are a critical tool for encouraging manufacturing to return to the United States and for correcting what it views as unfair trade practices by other nations. President Trump had previously expressed his hope that the Supreme Court would ultimately uphold the policy. The court's decision to expedite the case was made without any noted dissents from the justices. The outcome of this hearing will have significant implications for the administration's ability to use tariffs as a primary lever in its international trade negotiations and its push for domestic industrial growth. Shifting to international affairs, the White House is navigating a delicate diplomatic situation following an Israeli airstrike in Qatar. The administration today described the September 9th strike, which targeted Hamas leaders in the capital city of Doha, as unfortunate. However, it also maintained that the goal of targeting Hamas leadership is a worthy one. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed that President Trump has spoken with both Qatari Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the aftermath of the attack. During a briefing, Leavitt stated that while the U.S. military had notified the administration of the impending strike, the unilateral action inside a sovereign nation does not advance the goals of either Israel or the United States. She highlighted Qatar's role as a close and important ally that has been taking significant risks to help broker peace in the region. The statement underscores the complex balancing act for the administration as it seeks to support Israel's security objectives while also maintaining its strategic partnership with Qatar, a key intermediary in Middle Eastern diplomacy. The incident places a spotlight on the challenges of conducting counterterrorism operations in nations that also serve as diplomatic hubs. And in a development that has stunned lawmakers and defense experts, a House subcommittee was shown extraordinary footage of an encounter with an unidentified aerial phenomenon, or UAP. The video, presented at a hearing on government transparency, appears to show a U.S. military drone firing a Hellfire missile at a mysterious orb-like object off the coast of Yemen. Instead of destroying the target, the missile seems to bounce directly off it. The orb remains intact and continues on its trajectory, apparently unaffected by the impact. Lawmakers in the House Oversight Subcommittee expressed shock at the footage. Witnesses, including military veterans and experts, testified that no known technology in the U.S. arsenal or any other nations is capable of withstanding a direct hit from a Hellfire missile in such a manner. When asked if they were aware of any material that could survive such a strike, the expert witnesses said no. They also confirmed that the footage was frightening. The hearing included other compelling testimony, including an account of a 2003 incident at Vandenberg Space Force Base, where a red, square-shaped object reportedly approached security personnel at high speed before vanishing. Another witness described a tic-tac-shaped craft that demonstrated no conventional propulsion signatures. The hearing has intensified calls for greater transparency from the Pentagon and intelligence agencies, as the evidence presented suggests the existence of technology that operates far beyond our current scientific and military understanding.